Hey everyone, so today's video is going to be on one of the characters that I think is not only just a great PvP unit, but a great unit in the entire game of Awaken Chaos Era, and he just so happens to be an epic. And that character is going to be Jonathan. Now, Jonathan got a buff, I think it was like 6 or 8 months ago, somewhere in between that time range. And ever since he got that buff, he's been relevant everywhere in the game. Dungeons, PvP, Void Tower Hard, even Guild versus Environment, right? So let's just recap what he does, and then we'll showcase him in some PvP, which is where I use him a lot. And then we'll talk about some teams that he can be used in with dungeons. So, talking about his trait, this is one of the reasons why he's good, is whenever an enemy casts an AoE ability, he makes this big shield based on 10% or 20% if he's ascended based on his health. So anytime he gets hit, he puts this big shield for everyone on your team, including himself, based on his health. So survivability, check. Then on his basic, he does 110% damage to one enemy, implies unhealable to them for 2 turns. Great debuff for tank teams. And his damage scales with his max health. So he does damage based on his attack stat, but then it scales. It's really weird how they word these things in this game. It's like additional damage, and I'll show you this in Arena whenever we take him for a spin. So he does additional damage based on his max health. So you're building him tanky anyway, and then his damage is going to scale with that. So kind of nice. Then he has this special ability where it removes all negative effects from him, recovers 30% of his health, and then still gains a bonus turn at the end of the round. So not only does he cleanse everything and heal, he doesn't even miss his turn. This is great for a couple reasons. One, it helps you loop back around to his ultimate ability quicker. And 2, it's self-sustain on his special. This is nuts. This character is already great with his trait, his basic, and his special, right? And then, on top of that, he does this ultimate ability where it says deals 120% damage to one enemy. That is a lie. It does it to everyone. It's an AoE ability, and it applies defense down and attack down to them for 2 turns, which is 100%. It doesn't have a chance. It's 100% as long as you have the focus. And then this ability also scales with his max health. So both his abilities that do damage scale off of his health, which you want to build high anyway because of his trait. So you're getting damage off of just building him tanky. I mean, his kit is great. It's perfect. So for me, I just built him extremely high health, 32,000, which is still low. Like this is still kind of pathetic in regards to some of the better Jonathans out there. But this is the best that I can kind of do right now. I'm on the lookout for some better pieces for him. But with that being said, he's got some okay defense. He's got 53% focus, which is not very high. But I will say that damage dealers like in the meta don't really have high resistance. So you're going to be landing that attack down and the defense down against them pretty often, even with focus this low. And then his resistance and agility are okay. His agility is actually kind of high. I did this on purpose because he doesn't have very high resistance. I just want him to survive. I want people to focus down Jonathan because if they don't, it just keeps putting on shields to my entire team. I do have him in Dragon Scale and some speed, but I only have him in speed because these are like my best pieces that I could put on him. If I had better pieces of like Terra set, the health set from Tulpa, or even the Vanguard set, which is the defense set, I'd probably go with that, but I don't farm that dungeon enough to have good pieces. So this is kind of my gear. On the weapon, it's just health rolls, a little bit of defense, some resistance. This attack is worthless in my opinion. Some focus, health, agility, more health, a crappy fabled substat. I have him in health boots with some defense and agility, and then health with some resistance. Like I said, these pieces aren't like amazing for him, so he's got a lot of upgrades in the future, but more health percentage on his amulet. So that's kind of where we're at. I do have him mostly booked out. I got pretty lucky with the gear rolls, which is the most important masteries that you want to hit. And then the physique is usually the worst, but in his case, it's not bad because he does get that additional 30% focus and 20% health boost, so that's nice. And here, I'm still debating because his ability here, his ability mastery does give him more heal, but I haven't needed it yet, and books are just so important to have. I don't know if I want to waste them here. And then the True Strike, giving him 40% True Strike, allows you to build him with additional damage because he only needs to hit 60% crit rate. But I'm not going that route yet. I don't have the pieces to make that viable, but maybe something in the future. Okay, so let's just take him for a spin in Arena. I'll show you kind of how he helps the team survive, and we'll go from there. Okay, so this team... No. Let's go this team. Yeah, let's go this team. So I will say that one of the counters to Jonathan is Garnett, because she puts up no positive effects. So that's kind of a bummer. But what we'll do here is we'll bring in someone quick like Andre or even Alicia. Let's bring in Alicia. So what you're going to see here is just Jonathan keeping the team healthy. I mean, I am bringing in Nero, who's a pretty big tank. And then Jabez. So you'll see Light Nick go. I think my team's going to be quicker than them. I don't want them to be quicker. I want to go second. But I do want to kill this Garnett. So maybe we'll just do this, and let's see if we survive. I don't know. So let's slow this down. Okay, so there's Light Nick. So you see the shield here. Big shield gets put up. And there's kind of the counter to to us, which is the no positive effects. But you'll see now that Jonathan is going to cleanse this defense down and this no positive effects from himself, and I'm going to revive Jabez just so he can help snipe Nero. So we'll cleanse this off, heal a little bit. He does have this unhealable thing going on from Nero. And then we'll nuke some of these people down. And now he gets to go again. So here, he's going to use his ultimate ability, and you'll see it's an AoE. It's not this one enemy. I don't know why that's here. And you'll see some yellow or orange damage. That's the scaling off of his max health. So there's the normal damage, and there's the damage. The 3,218 is from his health scaling, right? So yeah, that's kind of it. And now it's just like smooth sailing, even though his late Nick wasn't booked. There you go. So he kept the team kind of alive there off that first Nick nuke. This isn't like an extremely strong team or anything like that, but still. I think if this guy doesn't mind, I mean, I think he's going to kill me anyway. We'll just showcase him here. So maybe we'll bring in this team. So this Dark Nick has it's an A2 Dark Nick, so he's going to be scary. I'm just bringing in like all of the sustain that I can get here to try and win. But this is going to be a good showcase of Jonathan. Okay, so I'm going to try and snipe his Mathasia here. Always. This character always does that. Always saves somebody. Okay, so she's going to go stun some people. But there you go. There's the big shield from Jonathan, right? We did put up the immunity from Nero, from Yolanda. So we're going to do a big nuke here. Okay. So that was okay. You got a big nuke from Nero, and it's just doing nothing. This is an extremely strong team, right? It's a well-built team, but at the same time, you have these huge shields going up from Nero, not from Nero, from Jonathan. That's just protecting your entire team. Like this Nero hit this Alicia, and she's still at max health. You see what I'm saying? So, anyway, just crazy stuff. Tons of survivability. If you guys are struggling against, some of these huge LD teams, light and dark teams, bring in Jonathan. He's going to help you. He's going to help you survive. So let's finish this out here. As Mathasia brings back everybody, Jonathan's going to cleanse himself, take off that attack, the defense down, big shields. This AoE stuff is doing absolutely nothing. I'm waiting for this huge nuke from Dark Nick. But here, even, Jonathan's going to put attack down and defense down on him, so he's just not going to do any damage, going forward. And he's dealing 3,000 damage? Like, he's still chipping away. A tank doing damage. It's a beautiful thing to see. Let's kill Nero and let's see what this Dark Nick's nuke is like. Let's see how tough it is. Yeah, he's got one turn. Come on, do it. Hit me. It's like the Joker. Oh, come on. Anyway, Jonathan did his job. We brought in 2 damage dealers here, and he kept them alive. Nero is extremely tanky on his own, but you get the gist, right? Anytime you're struggling with surviving these big light Nick, dark Nick nukes, bring in Jonathan. He's going to help you. You might not beat all of these teams, right? Because the rest of my characters, they're pretty well built. But at the same time, it goes a long way. Okay, so here, another team. Right? So Jonathan is going to help survive this Nero nuke and even this Baron nuke. So Baron is one of the hardest hitting characters in the game. She's a positive element to Jonathan and Nero. And we're still going to survive. I'm going to take out Alicia. We'll bring in Levi just for fun. But we won't hit anybody. Okay. So let's slow this down a little bit. Okay, so everyone was... All right. So Holly goes. We already get a huge shield from Jonathan. Okay, so that was a huge hit. Huge hit by Baron. I guarantee that Baron was built extremely well. So almost all of our characters died, right? But we just took huge hits. Big buffed hits. Because Halia gives boost with her ocean lights to the entire team. And then Baron, who's one of the hardest hitting characters in the game, just did an AoE nuke. And then she also did her follow-up with her ability. With her special. So, and we survived it still. Right? Pretty impressive. So now it's our turn to counter. Nice. Here we're going to buff up our Nero so he survives. We'll finish off this Baron here. We got the lucky second attack. And then we'll just kind of finish this off. So we still might die from their Nero because we don't have Jonathan anymore. Oh, nice. Okay, so we still got it. But like I said, those were extremely well-built teams. Well-built characters. 60,000 damage. Yeah, so Jonathan really helping us survive there. And Rap 2, good defense, man. Thanks for letting me showcase Jonathan. So that's how we use him in PvP. He's there to soak up those AoEs, put on those really detrimental debuffs with attack down and defense down. And just to give you guys an idea, like in RTA, I have some pretty good light and dark heroes. Well, one or two of them. And even then, characters like Jonathan are helping me win. Like this team here, Light Nick and Dark Valeria are one of the craziest pairs in this game. And Jonathan helped me win that, for sure. Against a team like that, and you're using an epic to help you win, says something about how good the epic is. Here, he even got banned. He got banned over other really good characters. That's how good he is. And more instances here. Banned again. Banned again. Here he lived, but I won. He survived the ban. Here I lost. This was a bad pick by me, actually. I should have just banned this Levi. Shout out to this guy also using Levi. More Jonathan. So anyway, you get the point. I use him a lot in high-end RTA. So other than that, you guys know that I'm not a huge PvE guy anymore. But in these dungeon teams, if you have a newer account, and you're struggling on maybe like a Hell 2 stage, and I won't run this because it would take too long, but Jonathan helps you a lot in Queen of Tides because the minions, like the waves, have those AoE big crabs, and Jonathan soaks that up. And then the Queen also has AoE attacks that hit really hard that Jonathan also helps you eat up. So he gives you survivability on Queen. He also has unhealable because one of these crabs heals the Queen. So amazing there. You pair him with people like Bulin. I think you have some teams that also have like Mathasia and Hakron, right? Yeah, so Mathasia and Hakron. So this is a Queen of Tides team that has high survivability. And if you don't have Mathasia, you can use someone like this character here, Rhaenyra, right? She's an elite. So that team can beat Queen of Tides 12. It'll be slow, but it can beat it, right? So he's using that dungeon, which is one of the best dungeons in the game, especially for a newer account. And then you'll eventually want to farm Ash Magisteria, which is the best dungeon in the entire game for any part of the game. All three of these gear sets are great. And in here, he's also part of this team. Now, before Ash changed, they changed Ash a little bit. I think it's still the same in Hell 2, but on like Hell 3 or Hell 4, he targets the highest attack person, so you can find ways to get around his bomb. But in the lower stages, if you have a Nathalia, Jonathan also pairs with Nathalia if you don't have a good guard set, because whenever they're attacked, Jonathan puts a shield up, and that counts as a buff for Nathalia. So you have teams like this that can beat Ash as well. And I think there's even a decent, like Ciara, which is a synthesis character. I'll be making a video on her here shortly too, because she didn't used to be a synthesis character, but she's a great way to get through Ash Magisteria. And you really want to be farming this dungeon. But That's really all I got for you here today. I just wanted to talk about an epic character because I've been talking about legendaries, and some people might not have them, but I would guess most of the player base has Jonathan. And if you invest books in him, if you give him your best gear, you're not going to regret it. He's literally one of the best characters in the entire game. And as I've mentioned, I have all of these good light and dark characters. I have some of these broken red, green, and blue characters, and I'm still picking Jonathan, over them. So I hope this gave you a little insight on some characters that aren't legendaries that are still extremely good in this game, and hopefully they help you get through the game as well. All right, well, that's all I got for you guys. Thanks.